the treaty provisions. The recent violations of the treaty by India is just one example. India has consistently attempted to undermine the treaty in a systemic manner. India's construction of hydropower projects such as Kishanganga and Ratle involves design features that blatantly violate treaty's technical specifications. India continues to build illegal dams to sheer disregard of the treaty obligations to impose fait accompli. With building of dams, Indian capacity to store and manipulate water is also increasing, which endangers Pakistan's security, economy, and livelihood of 240 million people of Pakistan. Excellencies, India has also halted sharing the advance information, hydrological data, and joint oversight required by the treaty, which has exposed Pakistan to floods and droughts, which all of you had witnessed recently. Such illegal and irresponsible Indian conduct has all the potential to trigger a humanitarian crisis in Pakistan. The ongoing water manipulation by India gravely contravenes international human rights and international humanitarian law, while hindering progress on sustainable development goals on poverty and hunger. If India is allowed to violate treaty and obligations of India under the treaty with impunity, we are setting a very dangerous precedent. Alarmingly, India is now subverting the treaty's own dispute resolution mechanism. By refusing to participate in the Court of Arbitration and neutral expert proceedings, India is pursuing a deliberate strategy to sabotage the well-established arbitration process under the treaty provisions. Pakistan would like to reiterate that Indus Water Treaty is a binding legal instrument that has made an invaluable contribution to peace and stability of South Asia. Its violation, on the one hand, threatens the inviolability of international treaties, and on the other, it poses serious threats to regional peace and security, principles of good neighborhood, and norms that govern interstate relations. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, the Permanent Court of Arbitration, in its recent decision of June and August 2025, reaffirmed the continuing validity of the Indus Water Treaty and its binding dispute resolution mechanisms. These rulings leave no ambiguity. The Indus Water Treaty is alive and its provisions remain binding on the parties. Indian impunity must not be accepted by the international community, to which you all represent. We also take note in this regard the communication by several UN special procedures and mandate holders addressed to India, in which serious legal, human rights and humanitarian concerns have been expressed regarding Indian illegal actions pertaining to Indus Water Treaty. The communication has been made public on 15th of December. On 21st of June, I'm quoting now excerpts from the communication which has been made public on 15th of December. On 21st of June 2025, India's Home Minister declared that India would never restore the treaty and would instead divert waters to India's Rajasthan via a new canal. Number two, in the same report, Pakistan National Security Committee has declared that any attempt to stop or divert the flow of water to Pakistan under the treaty will be considered as an act of war. This was on 24th of April this year. Now I'm quoting again from the report, quote, "We are concerned that India's response to the Pahalgam attack appears to, number one, have violated the rights to life and security of persons as a result of the unlawful use of force on Pakistan's territory, and two, risk violating the rights to work and livelihood and adequate standard of living, including the rights to water and food, and a clean, healthy, and sustainable environment and development as a result of the actions that may be taken to disrupt the flow of water to Pakistan under the Indus Water Treaty. On the abeyance of the Indus Water Treaty, the report says, I quote again, "We are deeply concerned that any disruption of the flow of water to Pakistan that may result from holding the Indus Water Treaties in abeyance could severely affect the human rights of millions of people in Pakistan who rely on the river for agriculture, industry, drinking water, and sanitation, and healthy ecosystems by undermining their rights to work and livelihood, water, food, an adequate standard of living, a clean and healthy environment, economic self-determination of peoples, and the right to development," unquote. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, the international community must take notice of India's continued disregard of a bilateral treaty and counsel India to act responsibly in accordance with international law and established norms. Belligerent statements keep coming from the Indian leadership clearly demonstrate Indian intentions and designs to weaponize water aimed at inflicting harm on Pakistan and its people. We have repeatedly brought this situation to the attention of the UN Security Council, most recently in my letters to the UN Security Council's President on 11th of December 2025. I have similarly written to the UN Secretary General as well as UN President of the General Assembly to play their due role in this regard. Let me reassure you that Pakistan remains committed to peaceful resolution of disputes and issues with India, but will not compromise on the existential water rights of its people. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, we urge the international community, especially the UN Security Council members, to take immediate steps to address this situation. We hope that in your national capacities and capabilities, you will call on India for the immediate restoration of the Indus Water Treaty in full, stop weaponization of water, uphold international law and treaty obligations, and refrain from undermining peace and stability of South Asia. I will conclude by saying water is life and cannot be weaponized. I thank you all for joining us this evening.
नायब वज़ीर-ए-आज़म इसहाक डार इंडस वाटर ट्रीटी पर सफारतकारों को ब्रीफ कर रहे थे। आपकी जानिब से कहा गया भारत आबिजारियत से बाज नहीं आता, भारतीय इक़दामात से पाकिस्तान की ग़ज़ाई सलामती को ख़तरा लाहक है। भारत मुआहदे को मुनज़्ज़म अंदाज में कमज़ोर करने की बदस्तूर कोशिशें कर रहा है। किशन गंगा और रिटले जैसे भारतीय हाइड्रो प्रोजेक्ट्स की तामीरी डिज़ाइन भारत के गैर कानूनी और गैर जिम्मेदारी इक़दामात का मुँह बोलता सबूत हैं। तशवीश की बात है कि भारत अब मुआहदे में तनाज़े से हल करने से तयशुदा तरीक़ेकार से सबोताज कर रहा है, इसको पीछे हट रहा है। भारतीय इक़दामात पर पाकिस्तान को सैलाब और खुश्क साली के ख़तरात से दो चार होना पड़ता है। भारत ने हाइड्रोलॉजिकल डाटा और मुश्तरका निगरानी के अमल को भी रोक रखा है। भारतीय इक़दामात से जनूबी एशिया में अमन व इस्तेहकाम को संगीन ख़तरात लाहक हैं। भारत की जानिब से तनाज़ात के हल से फ़रार आलमी कवानीन की संगीन खिलाफ वर्जी है। मुआहदे के तहत ज़रूरी डाटा और मालूमात पाकिस्तान को फराहम नहीं की जाती। पाकिस्तान ने इंडस वाटर कमिश्नर के जरिए बाज़ाब्ता सफारती और कानूनी रास्ता इख्तियार किया। भारत का हालिया इक़दाम पानी को बतौर हथियार इस्तेमाल करने की वाज़ेह मिसाल है। भारतीय इक़दामात से पाकिस्तान की ग़ज़ाई सलामती को भी ख़तरा लाहक है। भारत सिंतास मुआहदे के मुताबिक अपनी ज़िम्मेदारियों को पूरा करे। भारत मुआहदे को मुनज़्ज़म अंदाज में कमज़ोर करने की जो है पैदर पे कोशिशें कर रहा है। किशन गंगा रिटले जैसे मंसूबे मुआहदे की तकनीकी शराइत की खिलाफ वर्जी हैं। भारत गैर कानूनी डैमों की तामीर जारी रखे हुए है। डैमों की तामीर से भारत की पानी ज़ख़ीरा करने की सलाहियत और इसका गैर कानूनी इस्तेमाल में इजाफा हुआ है। भारतीय इक़दामात पाकिस्तान की सलामती और लोगों की ज़िंदगियों के लिए ख़तरे से कम नहीं। भारत ने हाइड्रोलॉजिकल डाटा और मुश्तरका निगरानी का अमल भी रोक रखा है। भारतीय इक़दामात पर पाकिस्तान को सैलाब और खुश्क साली के खतरात से भी दोचार होना पड़ा। भारतीय आबी इक़दामात इंसानी बहरान को जन्म देने की सलाहियत रखते हैं। सिंतास मुआहदा जनूबी एशिया में अमन इस्तेहकाम का एक अहम जरिया है। भारत की जानिब से तनाज़ात के हल से फरार आलमी कवानीन की नफ़ी है। जून और अगस्त 2025 में सालसी अदालत ने सिंतास मुआहदे की हैसियत को बरकरार रखा था और सिंतास मुआहदा नाफिजुल अमल और फरीकैन पर इसकी पासदारी लाजिमो मलजूम है। अक़वाम मुत्तहिदा के खुसूसी तरीक़ाकार ने भारतीय इक़दामात पर तशवीश का इजहार किया। भारतीय वज़ीर दाख़िला ने मुआहदा बहाल न करने और पानी का रुख मोड़ने का ऐलान किया।